So I just finished hosting day 4 of the Make Money Online challenge, and what happened was absolutely insane. You see, we originally planned just 3 days for this challenge. That was it, done. But the engagement from you guys was so overwhelming, tens of thousands watching live, flooding the chat with questions, that we actually decided to extend with 2 bonus days. And for the first bonus day, I brought in someone special to take over. Jason Fladlin. Now, if you don't know who Jason is, it's because he's been the invisible force behind the scenes for over 20 years. Here's what you need to know about him. This man has generated over $250 million selling digital products, including $57.9 million in a single product launch and $9.8 million in 8 days. He's disrupted Amazon so hard that they had to change their terms of service because of him. The people he helped back then, many are millionaires today. But what Jason revealed in today's session will blow your mind. Like the exact $4 sale that started his empire, and why this tiny transaction contains the blueprint for everything he's gonna reveal. The speed formula that lets you charge 3 times more for the same information others give away for free. Why most profitable products took less than an afternoon to create using specific AI frameworks. He's gonna be revealing the Gusher strategy, how drilling for digital products is exactly like drilling for oil, and even show the exact template that's made of millions. This is raw, unfiltered wisdom from someone who's been printing money online since way before YouTube even existed. With that being said, let's dive straight into it.
All right, we're gonna cook here. It's just me, no workbook today, no password. Don't ask about it. I got a couple extra goodies that I will give to you when it makes sense at the end here. That one, thank you, Tristan. But we're gonna get down and we're gonna do some work. I got a lot to cover and I wanna get through it very efficiently and very quickly. So if you're ready, put a ready into the YouTube live chat right there. That'll get me fired up and then we'll get cooking. We'll get ready to rock and roll. So if you're ready, say, I'm ready. My name is Jason Fladlin. It's gonna be an honor to serve you today. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's get to work. I think we need to put it on the slide there. Tristan, I'm not able to advance it. I love live, by the way. All right. Anticlimactic. Calm before the storm.
Sure now.
Okay. Is it on there?
Yep.
Okay.
No way, yeah. Oh, sure.
All right. I still remember exactly where I was sitting when it happened. This tiny little desk in my cramped apartment, surrounded by a bunch of empty Diet Coke cans and a whole bunch of books that I checked out from the library on business and sales and productivity and personal development. And there I was trying my hardest and I was barely getting by. I had a $500 credit card. That was all they would trust me with at the bank. And I was eating ramen noodles nearly every day because that was about all I could afford. And I had no clue that I was about to stumble into something that would completely change my entire life. See, that day, it was November 12th, 2007. I remember it very clearly. That was the day that I made my first digital product sell for a whopping $4 freaking dollars. Now, most people would laugh at that, but here's what they don't understand. It wasn't the amount that mattered. It was how I made it, because that accidental $4 led to over $250 million, that's 250 million, and as Iman said in the intro, it's now at over $300 million in sales over the past 18 years, including $57.9 million in just 226 days, including $9.8 million in just 8 days, and over $1 million in a single hour. More than once. Yeah, you heard that right. 1 million in an hour. Not a bad payday, huh? And the money is just part of the story, my friend, because this accident of digital products also is what brought me to my wife. It allows me to provide for my 3 children, and it gives me the freedom to live life on my terms, to be ungovernable. What was the shirt I was rocking the other day? I got the .44 on here today. All of this was because I stumbled upon a specific way to create digital products that I had no idea that it would disrupt entire industries. And you want to know the crazy part? It's this. The same method that little Jason Fladlin discovered in 2007 works even better in 2025. Caveat, as long as you use it the right way which 99% of people screw up completely. So today, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you the exact process, step by step, no fluff, no theory, just the raw, unfiltered blueprint that turned my broke ass into a 9-figure entrepreneur. Would you like to see it? Also, I do have a special guest. I'm going to bring her on a little bit later. Iman's going to pop in, and then I'm going to bring her on. You're going to love her story, which will come here at the end of the presentation today. Now, here's the thing. Even if you don't buy a damn thing from Iman and me, even if you say, I am not going to invest in Monetise, Jason, what I'm about to show you will be worth more than most people's entire business education, what I'm going to share with you here today. And for those of you who were able to grab Monetise or will grab Monetise by the end of the presentation here today, I have some extra special resources that I'm going to provide to you as well. So grab something to write with, because I'm about to show you how to churn thin air into cold hard cash. If you're ready, drop some fire emojis into the chat. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Now, before we dive into the good stuff, let me tell you why I'm here, because the story is absolutely wild. My name is Jason Fladlin, and I took a 16-hour flight from Los Angeles to Dubai. I left behind my wife, who I am madly in love with, and I'm working these late nights in a time zone that is completely ridiculous for my 42-year-old ass. And I'm doing all this to be here with you today. Now, why would I do something like this? And here's why. Because what Iman has built is so damn powerful that I had to be a part of it. And trust me, I can judge this stuff better than anyone. See, I haven't just watched digital history unfold. I helped write the damn history book on it. See, over a decade ago, I disrupted Amazon so hard, yeah, that Amazon, that they literally had to change their terms of service because of what we were doing so effectively on their platform. And the people that I helped get started there, many of them are millionaires now, retired, living the good life. All because they moved when I told them to move, and they moved how I told them to move. And Amazon was just the beginning, my friend, because then when e-commerce exploded with Shopify, I was sitting front row again. I partnered with the first company that got Shopify's approval on a digital program, and I helped regular people print money with it like they had their own Federal Reserve. Now, some of the brands that I've worked with, you probably have their products in your house right now. We're talking household brand names. And then came Zoom after that. You know, that company that's worth billions of dollars. I saw that wave coming from miles away. I became the leading authority on their platform for doing certain kinds of presentations. And then Zoom themselves brought me in to train their users right before they went public. And we're talking the day where they became worth billions in 24 hours. And here's the crazy part. I did all of this without any social media presence. I'm just kind of getting started right now, and I'm fumbling in the dark. I'm not very good at it. I don't have that big personal brand. I don't dance on TikTok. I don't post motivational quotes on LinkedIn. I just work directly with the best. I tend to stay private, and I have become the secret weapon behind some of the biggest names that you know today in the digital product space. So I've been around the block. I wear the scars of trial and error, and I carry the lessons from the wins into everything that I do. And because of this track record, the best in the world seek my advice. They want to hire me, and I say no to 99 out of 100 of them. And I only work with the absolute best of the best who have the best offers for the best audiences. So when Iman says, hey man, here's what I'm cooking with. Here's what I built. You want in? I said, let's go, baby. I'm in. And why is that? Because Iman has the very best solution that I've seen in this space for solving my favorite problem in the entire world, which is how to create high-value digital products at scale. And that's exactly what we're about to show you how to do on this session today, because out of everything that I've sold, every major client that I've advised, every million-dollar launch that I've been behind and been a part of, there's always been a digital product at the heart of it. I am absolutely obsessed with digital products, and I mean literally. My wife thinks I have some sort of problem. She'll catch me at like 2 a.m. scribbling a product idea on a napkin after waking up from a dead sleep, or I get super excited about some weird esoteric way to package up a digital product, and she's like, baby, I think you might need to go see a therapist because it's not normal. I'm certainly not normal, and I am absolutely so damn passionate about this. Way more than anything I've done, because while it's cool helping people crush it, selling cheese graters on Amazon, some of them made millions with it, by the way, and it's awesome watching entrepreneurs blow up, shipping swaddle blankets off of Shopify. That's pretty cool. And it's really neat advising the leading software companies and agencies on strategy. I can't name names, but you would know who they are. Nothing, and I repeat, nothing gets me fired up like digital products. Because unlike physical products, you don't need inventory, you don't need a warehouse, you don't need to deal with shipping delays or customs or any of that bullshit. And unlike services, you don't need to trade time for money, you don't get stuck on the hamster wheel of more clients means more hours, and you don't burn out trying to scale yourself. Digital products are pure leverage, create once, sell forever. And here's the thing, even though I've been obsessed with this for years, it's not something that I could just go out and recommend to anybody who wants to get started online. Why is that? Because until recently, the skill threshold was too damn high. You needed to be an expert, you needed to be a writer, or you needed to be a speaker, you needed to know how to process information and set up complicated systems, and most people aren't willing to put in the years and the time to master that. So I had kept this strategy close to the chest, only sharing it with the highest level clients, the ones who could afford to hire teams, handle all the technical stuff, and then suddenly the barriers around us started crumbling. You could generate the content now in minutes instead of months. You could create the content without being a subject matter expert to publish your first ever digital product. You could create the landing pages for it without knowing any code. Just 2 lines of prompt can build something incredible like what you're seeing on your screen right now in front of your very eyes in real time. You can automate all sorts of different things that you would need in order to have a successful digital product with pushes of buttons, and that's exciting. But here's where most people mess it up. They think that this thing called artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is some sort of magic wand. That they can just, type "make me money" into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT says, "Aye, aye, boss," and then the cash starts rolling in. That is complete BS. That is yet to work, and I don't think it will ever work, okay? If that were the case, you would see way more people making serious money online than you currently do. The truth of it is this: AI is just a tool. It is an incredibly powerful, useful, amazing tool, yet it is still a tool. What matters, less the tool, more how you use the tool. And you want to use it under the right strategic framework with the right approach, following the right sequence. And guess what? That framework, that's what I accidentally stumbled upon on November 12th, 2007, when I was broke, when I was desperate, and when I had not a single clue on what I was doing. Now, this framework has 3 core pillars. Miss any one of these and you're hosed, my friend. Nail all 3 and you're like a printing money machine. Would you like to know all 3 of these? Well, here they are. The first one is speed, so write that down. And we're not talking about just working fast, although speed does matter. We're talking about striking fast while the iron is hot. When you spot an opportunity in the market, when you see a gap that needs filling, when you notice people desperately asking for a solution that they can't find and pay money for, you need to move on that, my friend, and you need to move fast. Not next week, not next month, not when you have more time. I'm talking right now, because here's what I learned the hard way. Markets move at lightning speed. What's a burning problem today might be solved by someone else tomorrow, and the window of opportunity is usually very tiny, and the people who win are the ones who can move the fastest. And that's why AI is such a game changer once you understand this. It allows you to go from idea to launch in days or even minutes instead of months. And I'll show you more on that here shortly. Here's the second pillar, though, specific, so write that down. And this is where most people completely crap the bed. They try to be all things to everyone. They try to create some sort of generic, watered-down thing that appeals to nobody, and that's a huge mistake because the riches are in the niches. But not just any niche. You need to find the specific intersection where 3 specific things meet, and it's this. Write this down. A problem people are desperate to solve. That's number 1. A problem they're willing to pay money for to solve. That's number 2. And number 3 is a problem that you can use AI to actually solve and solve it better than anyone else. Those are your 3 criteria. We're going to examine them very deeply here today. So when you find that sweet spot and when you create a laser-focused solution, people will literally throw money at you. I'm talking about charging premium prices and having people thank you for it. And we're going to break that down here shortly. Now, there's the third pillar. So write this one down. Consistency. And this is the secret sauce that separates the one-hit wonders from the empire builders. Anyone can get lucky once. Building real wealth requires systems, though. It requires processes, though. And my favorite thing, it requires frameworks that you can work over and over and over again. And I got some of those frameworks for you here today. See, most people, they launch one product, they make some money with it, and then they sit back and wait for some sort of magic to occur. That's not a business. That's a lottery ticket. The real money comes from building a machine, a system that can pump out high-value digital products consistently, like the beating of the heart, month after month, year after year, creating multiple income streams that compound upon each other. And that's how you go from making $4 to making millions. And that's exactly this framework. It's exactly what I'm going to show you how to build. So you ready to go? You ready to dive deep? You ready to get into these three elements? Put a hell yes into the chat if you're ready. I'm ready. You ready? Let's go, baby. Let me break down speed for you first, because this is where most people completely miss the boat. This is pillar number 1, right? Speed works in 2 directions, and you want to nail them both. And if you do, then money will become a thing that you used to worry about. Now, here's the first direction you have to understand. It's called speed of deployment. The faster you can get a digital product to market, the better your chances of striking gold. Here's what I learned after launching hundreds. I repeat that I have launched hundreds of digital products over the years. Here's what I've learned. Every digital product is an asset, period. It is like a piece of digital real estate. Now, some of these assets, they hit like a freight train. Boom, right out of the gate. Thank you, God. I love when that happens. They meet a desperate market in need, and they crush a painful problem. Fantastic. And then they start chugging along, and they start generating profits and sales almost instantaneously. Now, I've had dozens of products that have done that. They've just shot out of a cannon and made $10,000 in their first week, or $20,000 or $50,000, even over $100,000 in their first month. In fact, my first 6-figure product in a single month happened on June of 2010, and I will remember that for the rest of my life, because that was the same month that my first daughter was born. So I'm like, 6-figure baby. I actually literally created a digital product called 6-figure baby, how I did 6 figures in that month. Now, that one came later, but this is how I remember this. I've even done $9.8 million in 8 days, and that was a freaking amazing week. And here's the thing. Not every product is going to be a home run. Most of them aren't. And that's perfectly fine, because some products are like that steady friend who never lets you down. They chug along, few sales a day, bringing you in consistent cash flow, which is the most important thing. It's like a stock market dividend, except for the return is a lot higher, okay? So I've had products that are, some of my products are 10 years old, and they're still generating, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, and they're making 6 figures over the course of the years from something that I only touched and created once. Then there are some products that just don't bite. Like, I've had a lot of flops over the years. I probably had 20 or 30 or maybe even 40 products that were flops in the commercial sense. They didn't just like start raining money from the sky. Instead, maybe they got a sell here, a sell there, and they trickled in. And you know what? That's still not a loss, because, and write this down, every product that you create becomes an asset that you can leverage. So that failed product, that can become a bonus for your next digital product that you launch. Or it can be the thing that you give away for free as content that will attract people to you, who will then buy other products that you publish. It can be training material when you do coaching or a mastermind. It can be content for a book that you then fold into the next digital product. Everything has use once you create it in a digital form, as long as you can launch it fast, fail quick, and win even quicker. So there you go. I want you to really embrace that. Launch fast, fail quick, win even quicker. That's the motto, okay? You do that, you're absolutely golden. Then it's not a matter of if you'll start hitting the big bucks. It's just a matter of when. Because here's the dirty little secret that nobody talks about. Most successful entrepreneurs, they have a graveyard of failed products behind them. The difference is they kept launching, they kept moving, they kept iterating. And this is what success looks like, okay? While everyone else is still perfecting their first little beautiful product like it's their firstborn, the successful among us, they were already launching 2 and 3 and 4 and product number 5 and 6 and 7, all the way up to product number 12. And maybe it was product number 12 that made them rich. And that's direction number 1 of speed. Direction number 2 is speed of results. And this one is my very favorite. This was the biggest game changer for me early on in my career. And here's where it's awesome, because speed works on the buyer's side as well. Okay? And this is the breakthrough that changed my entire life. See, if your audience can buy your digital product and can reduce the time it takes them from consumption to result, they will pay you more money. Not the same amount of money. They will pay you more. And this is true even if they could get that same information for free elsewhere. And let me prove it to you. I'll give you a real example of this. Say somebody wants to learn how to start their very own podcast. Now, they could go and spend 16 hours researching it on YouTube, and they could even listen to podcasts on podcasting, and they could ask ChatGPT a whole bunch of questions about it, and they can go to Google and say, how do I start a podcast? And then they could read through all the different results, and they can do all that. Or they could, pay you $97 for a step-by-step system that gets them launched in 2 hours. Just like that podcast launch. Guess which most people in a market would choose? They choose the buying decision every single time because it saves them time. Only a very few people would rather spend hours upon hours upon hours to get it for free as opposed to spending a little bit of money to get the result very quickly. And with Monetise AI, and this is the game changer, we can create these products. We can create them faceless. We can create products where you don't have to be an expert in them yourself. And these products will be as good as any product on the market right now. And then we just point them at these speed opportunities. And we can develop these products in a lazy afternoon. And this is what was my big breakthrough in my $250 million plus digital product career. See, I was sitting in that little apartment. I was stressed about money when it hit me like a lightning bolt. I don't need to create a digital product that gets a better result. I don't need to create a digital product that gets a bigger result. I don't even have to create a digital product that gets a completely new result. I just have to get a faster result. That's all I have to do. Like Disneyland. Think about it. Your admission ticket into Disneyland, it lets you ride any ride that you want. You pay the fee, you go in there, the park is yours. You want to ride this ride? Go for it. You want to ride that ride? Go for it. You just got to stand in line. Sometimes for over 2 hours. If you want, though, you can throw a little extra money their way and buy a fast pass. And now you can ride the exact same ride. It's not a better ride. You get the exact same experience once you're on the ride. It's not a new experience. You just get to get on the ride a little faster, or in some cases, a lot faster. And many people happily pay for this premium. And they do so because time is the most valuable currency that we have. So I want you to write this down. A surefire way to win in the digital product world is to sell speed. So let me tell it to you in 2 words. Sell speed. Let me repeat it to you. Sell speed. And now you can sell. No, let me run it back one more time. Sell speed. Sorry, I got super excited there. And here's your $1 million formula. Find any product that people are already buying. And then tell Monetise AI, create my version of that digital product, but just make them get the result promised 25% faster. That is a gold nugget. Okay, that just covered all of your investment over the last 4 days. That little secret right there. Say, that product over there that people are already buying that is getting success, create my version of that. Just get them to that result faster. And we call this an edge. And that's it. That's the game, my friend. I've used this strategy dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So think about it this way. If somebody wants to learn Facebook ads, there's like 1,000 courses out there that will teach it to them. But what if I could teach you to set up your first profitable campaign in 30 minutes instead of 30 hours? It doesn't have to be better, just has to be faster. Or say you wanted to start a YouTube channel because everybody's teaching that these days. What if, though, instead of saying the normal way, you said, here's how you get your first 1,000 subscribers in a couple days instead of many, many different months. Not more subscribers, not more money, just sooner. There's a whole bunch of people out there that want to write a book, and there's plenty of courses that exist on that. What if you could show them how to finish their first draft in a weekend instead of a year? Not make a better book, just faster. You see the pattern? Same destination, faster route, higher price, if you wish. Now, I didn't start that way. I started really cheap because I was scared. But then I learned people will pay for speed. And this is what I did on my first digital product by accident. See, there were already solutions in the market that I was selling by people that were far more accomplished than me who had been doing it longer. But mine was just faster. It just cut right through the noise. It eliminated the confusion. It got people results in hours instead of weeks. And that $4 sale that I made on November 12, 2007, let me tell you about that exact moment and why it took me 6 months of pure agony. And now what I had to suffer 6 months before I was finally able to accomplish, you can do in less than 2 hours in a single day. See, I was a ghostwriter, which is a fancy way of saying I was a literary prostitute. People paid me to write articles for them, so I go write this article on it, and then they would put their name on it, and they would take all the credit. They would pay me a small amount of money. They would get all the credit, and I would remain invisible. I was like a writing ninja, except it wasn't that cool. Now, the money as a ghostwriter was decent. You got to keep in mind, this was before the days of Fiverr and these crowdsource sites. And I was making, when I'd work really hard, $4,000 a month, which in Brentwood makes you absolutely homeless, which is where I live now. But in Iowa at the time, made me actually not that bad. I was a baller on a budget. But I was grinding 8 to 12 hours a day writing these articles to make it happen. And it was the classic time for money trap. I was on the hamster wheel of doom. And there was one thing, though, that I got really good at as a ghostwriter. I could write articles for clients really fast. So I figured out early that if I could write these articles faster than other ghostwriters, then I could just charge per the article instead of charge per the hour. And suddenly the math changed a little bit. So instead of being capped at something like $15 an hour, I could bang out 3 articles at $5 a piece, and I could make that $15 in half the time. So same work, better system. But I was still trading time for money. I was just a little faster at it. I was still breaking my back. I was still clickety-clackety, right? Still writing day in and day out like some sort of content factory worker, and I was getting burned out very quickly. Some days I'd fall asleep at my desk while writing an article. I'd be drooling literally on the keyboard as I would write an article on buckwheat pillows, or microdermabrasion or some weird esotopic tool. Real talk, I actually wrote articles on those topics, right? This was unsustainable, but I was scared to try anything else because we stay in the familiar even if it kills us. So ghostwriting was reliable, it was predictable, it was boring as hell, but it did pay the bills. And then one day, one fateful day, one amazingly incredible day, as I was bitching and moaning to a friend about how exhausted I was, he said something that forever changed. He says, dude, why don't you just teach people how you write so fast? And at first I was like, nah, that's ridiculous. Like, who the hell would want to learn from me on how to do that? I wasn't some famous author. I didn't have a best-selling book. I didn't have any book. I was just some rando who happened to be pretty fast at writing these articles. But the idea wouldn't leave my head because great ideas tend to stick around. You can shake them off, but they come back, right? Winston Churchill says the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, my friend, there it is. And so this truth haunted me for months as I kept thinking about it. What if? What if I could package up my write articles faster system? And what if I could churn this into a digital product, this expertise I had? And what if I could make money while I was asleep instead of grinding all days and only making money when I was awake? But I kept making excuses. Nobody would buy it. What if it sucks? What if people think that I'm a fraud? You know, that classic imposter syndrome BS. Finally, after 6 months of psyching myself up, after hundreds of hours of writing more articles, after convincing myself that I was ready, I worked up the guts to create my first digital product. And I was so overwhelmed by it that it was only 6 pages long because that was all I could manage. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm just going to ship the minimum viable digital product that I can just to say that I did it because it's probably going to fail anyway. So let me just get it out of my system and move on with my life. And so I made this tiny little PDF that showed people my system for writing articles faster, not better, just faster, not more profitably, just faster. And I was so scared to price this thing that I charged only $4 for it, 4 George Washingtons, for something that'd take me months to figure out and months more to work the courage up to put it into a digital product. And then I made it so cheap because I was terrified that nobody would buy it. And then I took out this tiny little ad on an online classified website. I spent $20 on this advertisement and held my breath. And the next day I woke up to something I'd never seen before. Money in my PayPal account from something that I didn't have to directly work upon to get. From people that I'd never met, buying something I'd created once, and the money was coming in while I was sleeping. In one day with this digital product, I made more money in that one day from that one little $4 product than I did the entire previous week writing articles for hours upon hours a day. Let that sink in, friend. One day of passive income beats a week of active grinding. Write that down. Let me run it back again. Let me say it again. One day of passive income beats a whole week of active grinding. And remember this. I didn't teach people how to do the thing better. I didn't promise them they would get bigger results. I didn't say they would be the next Hemingway or anything like that. I just showed them how to do it faster. That's it. Speed. That's it. I showed it to people that were already writing articles, and it was taking them much longer. And so they paid me $4 to cut their time in half. That was it. Boom, instant value. They were like, thank you so much. I practically robbed you by paying you only $4 because every time I write an article now, it takes me half the time. I doubled their output. Boom, instant value. And here's what blew my mind. Within a week, people started contacting me. They're like, Jason, bro, this is amazing. Do you have anything else for sale? And I'm like, uh-oh, I don't have anything else to sell these people. I better get on it. I better make some more digital products. They'd be like, how do you get traffic to these articles, Jason? Can you sell me a product on that? Or like, how do I leverage this to make money with these articles? Can you sell me a product on that? And suddenly I accidentally had a massive business of demand built up where people wanted to pay me money. And then it becomes really easy to create digital products once people say, as soon as you create that, I will put money in your hand. But it all started from a one tiny little 6-page PDF. Now, here's where this story gets really crazy and why you have a massive unfair advantage that I never had. What took me 6 months of mental torture to create, what required me to first become an expert in, what demanded hundreds of hours of trial and error for, you can now do in less than 2 hours with synthesized AI. That's insane. In less than the time it takes you to watch a movie, you'd have a product that's 10 times better than my original. More comprehensive, more valuable, more professional, and fast. Without you needing to become an expert first, without spending months psyching yourself up, without years of trial and error. This is a game-changing moment. But unfortunately, 99 out of 100 entrepreneurs won't seize it. And you want to know why? Because they don't see the difference. They think that they still need to be experts. They think that they need to have all the answers. They think that they need the years of experience before they can create any digital products. And that's complete bullshit. I was the expert. I had spent the whole year figuring this thing out. And you don't have to do that. You have something better. You have AI that can synthesize the wisdom of dozens of experts, hundreds of experts. You can combine the best of different methodologies. You can fill in the gaps that you didn't know even existed before, and you can package it all up into something incredibly valuable in hours, not years. Here's what I wish someone would have told me back then, and write this thing down. Do it before you know how, because the act of doing it will give you more insight than any amount of study ever could. You can't learn how to swim in a seminar room. You have to get in the water. And if you make the right decision, guess what? You get immediately rewarded. The market will tell you, hey, you're onto something. Here's some money. I like you. What else you got, right? But success is often about making decisions right, more so than making the right decisions immediately. So you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Can you do that for me? Can you commit to me? Say, Jason Fladland, I am going to start. This is the day everything changes. And with synthesized AI, that means starting very, very easily, very effectively, and very quickly. Not next month, not when you feel ready, because spoiler alert, you will never feel ready at first. You will only feel ready after you do the thing, and not when you have to become an expert either. I'm talking today. The opportunity is right there in front of you. The opportunity isn't just knocking at your door. It's kicking in the fucking window and trying to shake you out of bed. And the question is this: are you going to be one of the 99 who still find a way to make an excuse that's greater than your future? Or are you going to be the one who takes action? And I'm coming at you a little hard because I care. And hopefully the authenticity of that shows that you can see where this is coming from. It's coming from a place of care and concern because I want the best in you. And here's where it gets really insane, because everything that tortured me back then is a non-issue for you today. I was completely wrapped up in whether my product would succeed or fail. I was losing sleep over it. I was stress eating. You should see pictures of me. Google them. Jason Fladlin, fat. You'll see some fat Jason Fladlins back in the day, right? I was checking my sales dashboard every 5 minutes like some sort of deranged day trader. And why? Because it was my name on it. It was by Jason Fladlin, and it was my face on it, and it was my reputation on the line for it. So if it flopped, I would take it personal and feel like everyone would think I was a fraud. But you don't have to put your name on it. You don't have to put your face on it. You don't have to put anything on it. You create products under any brand name you want. You test markets anonymously. You fail completely in privacy. You went under a pseudonym. You take zero personal risk. You put zero ego on the line, and you win. And I was freaking out because I didn't even know where to start. Because actually, that's the hardest process is, an object at rest stays at rest. Where do I go? How do I start? How do I start? But an object in motion stays in motion. So I didn't know where to start. What should I write about first? What should I structure? How should I structure it? What order should I put the information in? What should I include? Should I include examples or not? How long should it be? What if I forget something important? What if I mess up the flow? So I would just worry and agonize, and I would outline. It took me longer to outline the product than it did to create the product, because I would just, try it again and re-outline it and say, what about this and what about this? Second guessing every single decision. It was mental torture. Today, though, AI can assemble everything for you. It will tell you exactly where to start. It will tell you exactly what order to put in. It's like something straight out of a science fiction novel, except it's not fiction. It's reality. You tell it what result you want to help people achieve, or it even tells you which one is the best result to go after, and it creates a complete product outline with all the structure, with all the flow, the heading, the chapters, the objectives, everything, with examples, with exercises, and it does it in minutes, not weeks. And if you don't like it, if you say, run it back and just do it again. When you use this, you will get multiple different product topics, so you can run many of them and just pick the one you like the most. This is like having a team of expert instructional designers, digital product designers working for you 24/7 for free. And it gets better. All those ads and all that content that you need to promote the digital product, AI can do that too. It can create the content that converts, and the posts that will go viral, and the email follow-ups that can convert even more buyers, and the scripts that will captivate, and the landing pages that make them want to buy as often as possible from you. Everything you need to turn your product into a profit machine. This is what the right AI, not your mom's AI, not generic AI, but the right AI, this is what it can do for you. Other people, they try to do it like this. They use that free shit. Or they pay the whopping $20 a month subscription to a generic AI, and they say, hey, AI, make me money. And then, these basic subscriptions, even the $200 a month ChatGPT subscription can't do this. Listen to me very carefully. Those are general tools for general tasks. They're like trying to perform brain surgery with a butter knife. Sure, it's technically a knife, but you're going to make a bloody mess. The time you waste fighting with basic AI tools and the mediocre results you get from them and the countless hours of trial and error will cost you way more than investing in proper tools ever will. And the major point here is this: money loves speed, period. And you now have the ability to output more digital products faster than ever before, more so than ever before, at a higher quality than ever before. Doesn't that excite you? That's exciting. And here's the golden rule that made me millions. If you take any successful digital product and find a way to help buyers get the same result faster, you will get more buyers who will pay you more money, and they will do so more than you could ever imagine. Because time is the ultimate currency, and people will gladly exchange money to win back time every single time. Would you like the winning formula in a simple template? This is the exact formula that I used over and over again my first 2 years in the digital product business. Here it is. How to achieve a certain solution without normal pain point in, and this is the most important part, short, specific amount of time. So my first product was how to write a 400-word article, including proofreading and research, in 7 minutes or less. That's that exact template right there. The first product that I ever made that did six figures in a single month was how to set up a digital membership site in 6 minutes and 22 seconds using completely free tools. And at that time, that was a game changer. Same formula. And I did this over and over again. That's it. That's the same game. And this is still the formula that we work today in 2025. I've created over 100 different digital products in different industries, many industries, business to business, business to consumer, all the ones in between, following that exact same formula. Desired outcome plus eliminate the main objection plus speed. Write that down. This is a moneymaker for you. Desired outcome, eliminate the main objection, and add in speed. In my first full year in the digital product business, 2008, I made over $150,000 following that exact same template. And that was back when everything was way harder to do. There was no WAP to get you online for free. I had to learn how to do PHP to put a product online. There was no Facebook ads that you could buy. There was barely anyone on YouTube. I tried to be on YouTube back then, and I'm like, this sucks. This weird site will never go anywhere, right? Instagram didn't exist. TikTok was just a sound an old clock made, and the majority of money was still being spent offline. People were buying more physical books than digital books. Netflix was freaking mailing DVDs in the mail when I was doing this, right? It was like doing business in the Stone Age. And today, though, all the money is moving online. Everything is automated. Everything is instant. Everything is scalable. The infrastructure exists to make you rich. And the audience is there waiting. And the payment systems at WAP are free to access and set up in minutes. And the traffic sources are more abundant than ever. You literally just need to show up with a valuable product. And the template that I just gave you, that's your shortcut to valuable. Now, would you like to kick it up another level? Would you like to stack the deck even further in your favor? Do you want to make success even more compelling, even more immediate, even more dramatic? Would you like that? Well, here's exactly how to do it. I'm about to tell you a crazy story to set up this next point, just so you can understand how valuable it is. And this is a very hard to believe story, so I brought the receipts to prove it. You ready for this? Here's the story. From monk to millions. See, when I was 20 years old, my life was a complete disaster. I'm talking like rock bottom. The only thing I had going for me was that I'd been a rapper since I was like 7 years old. That was my dream. That was my obsession. That was my escape, is I would write raps and I would perform them at like middle school dance parties and weird venues like that. And all I wanted to do was make music. I wanted to put a record out there, and I wanted to tour all over the world. And here's the thing about that, though. I grew up in an environment that really didn't allow for that to happen. I grew up around drug dealers. I grew up around drug addicts. Most of them were family members, and they brought with them danger and chaos. So that's what I was used to experiencing on a daily basis. I had family members coming and going in and out of prison like it was a revolving door, including my very own mother. She did 6 years in federal prison while I was growing up. 6 years behind bars where I couldn't see her. So while other kids were being sent off to college with that one big last going away party, my mom was on the run from the feds. While other kids were worried about prom, I was worried about bringing a girl over to the house because we had cockroaches and they would run out. Every time you flip the light switch on, whoosh, they would scatter. And so I couldn't even bring a girl home. So there I was at 20, depressed as hell, anxiety through the roof, having panic attacks every single day, trying to make this music and never getting anywhere with it. I was stuck, I was spinning my wheels, and I was going nowhere fast. And since I had nothing left to lose, I was desperate. I did something that shocked everyone Who knew me? I became a Hare Krishna monk. Shout out to Jay Shetty. You wouldn't believe it, but there's the picture right there. There I was at 20 years old when I became a Hare Krishna monk. I shaved my head. I became a vegetarian, still am, and I chanted hours every single day. 2 to 3, 4 hours of chanting every single day. I did the whole 9 yards. I'd meditate for the first half of the day, and then I'd use that spiritual refocus so I could go hard the second half of the day on the music. It really cleared me up. It gave me purpose. It gave me passion. It made my head right, so the anxiety went away and I could focus. It was the craziest combination that you'd ever seen. Monk by morning, rapper by night. And it worked until it didn't, okay? So, I dropped my CD right when people quit selling or buying CDs, of course. Timing couldn't have been any worse. And I couldn't get it going anywhere. Radio stations wouldn't play it. Record labels wouldn't touch it. Nobody showed up at the shows. I played so many shows for 3 people or 4 people or 0 people in some instances at a time, and all sorts of different crazy and sometimes dangerous places. And I'm like, what do I do? So I started studying business and I started studying marketing to figure out what I was doing wrong. And here's what I discovered, and this is how winning works. You consistently show up and eventually you run out of ways to lose. And that's how you win. Because I discovered that I love this marketing stuff more than I ever loved the music. Who would have known? And it's amazing how if you keep moving forward, the path will reveal itself. And here's the real point of the story. This is all a big elaborate setup just to make one very specific point. Here's why I'm telling you about my monk days. Specificity. It is one of the most valuable things that you can do, especially at the beginning of your digital product success. Go ultra specific, okay? So, example, say you wanted to create a digital product that was a cookbook. You might very well make the best general cookbook in the entire world that's ever existed. Michelin star recipes, professional photography, perfect layout, the whole 9 yards, right? And you probably wouldn't sell any of it. It would be very difficult for you to sell. Do you want to know why? Because it's too broad. There are a million cookbooks out there. You'd be a tiny little fish in an ocean of competition. Good luck getting noticed. Now, you could get a little bit more specific. You could be a keto cookbook, or you could be a Mediterranean diet cookbook, and that's better, but it's not good enough. You're a smaller pond, but still too big of a pond. Now, here is where the magic happens, though. If you just add one more layer of specificity to this, all of a sudden everything changes. You go ultra specific, like this Hare Krishna vegetarian cookbook that you see on your screen right now. This is a real, legit cookbook. I bought it on 3 separate occasions for myself, and I bought it many more times for other people as well. Hare Krishna vegetarian cooking. That is a unique value zone right there. Now, it's 95% the same as a regular vegetarian cookbook. Hare Krishnas, we don't eat onions and we don't eat garlic. And there's like foods in the mode of passion and the mode of goodness. So there's a little nuance to it, but AI can figure all that stuff out. Just a little bit different, but not that much different. The ingredients that align with spiritual practices and, recipes that are Americanized from the Indian roots, because Hare Krishna comes from India and Americans are like, oh, what are these samosas? I don't know how to make those kind of things. So cultural context and regular vegetarian cookbooks would not nail this. And so while there are thousands of vegetarian cookbooks out there, there are only a couple of Hare Krishna cookbooks, maybe 3 or 4 in the entire world. And there's a built-in market of people who will buy that book because there are millions of Hare Krishnas, believe it or not. So see what happened? When you go ultra specific, you get 3 massive advantages. Here's the first one. Write these down. 1, built-in audience. They're easy to reach and get attention from. 2, minimum competition. You're often the only solution. 3, higher prices if you wish to, because specificity commands premium pricing. The brain surgeon makes more than the general ear, nose, and throat doctor ever does, right? Think about it like this. If you create a pet training guide for every dog that's out there that's boring, that's generic, that's forgettable. If you create one specifically for working class dogs, that's better, smaller market, but still we want to get more focused than that. So if you create one specifically for German Shepherds using positive reinforcement only training methods, now you're on to something, my friend. You're speaking an exact language, solving an exact problem, understanding exact values of the audience. They will pay more for that, and they will buy it quicker, and they'll be easier to reach than if you just did general dog training, right? Because you get them, and they understand that. It's like calling them out by name. Now, here's the formula that made me millions with this. Broad market plus specific method plus specific audience within that broad market. That is gold. Capture that, right? Man, AI allows you to do this so easy. We'll uncover these for you, and then it will create the digital product within that specificity, okay? So let me give you some examples. Weight loss plus intermittent fasting plus busy moms equals intermittent fasting guide for busy moms. Guitar lessons plus finger picking plus folk music equals finger picking guitar for folk musicians. Business advice plus e-commerce plus organic products equals e-commerce for organic product entrepreneurs. Pretty clever, isn't it? Really effective. See how this works? You're not trying to be everything to everyone. You're being the solution for someone specifically. And that someone specifically will pay you handsomely for understanding them so well. You say, oh, you made this for me. Wow. Now, when you combine it with speed, remember the first formula? And then you run it through both AIs, synthesize to create the product, and Ghostwriter OS to create the ads and the content for the product. You've booked a one-way ticket to life-changing profits. Congratulations. Nice to meet you. And this is why you can start so specific and so narrow and so focused on such a small audience, an audience that's desperate in need, and you can absolutely win today for them. Transform their lives. Change their lives, transform their results, and earn good money doing that. And that's the best feeling. You get paid because you're bringing genuine value. What a good feeling. I hope you experience that very soon. It transforms both you and the market in the process. And here's the beautiful part. You don't stay small forever. Once you've dominated that little niche, once you've proven that you can create real value, once you become the go-to for that specific problem, then you level up. You level up. You go from German Shepherd positive reinforcement training to positive reinforcement training for all working dogs. So you get there. You get to broad. The fastest way to get to broad is to start specifically. You go from intermittent fasting for busy moms to intermittent fasting for busy parents. You go from e-commerce for organic product entrepreneurs just to e-commerce for health and wellness brands. You level up. Each level gets you access to a bigger market. If you want to climb Mount Everest, which I don't recommend, you can't go straight to the top. You got to acclimate yourself. You go up a little bit, then you rest. You go up a little bit, then you come down. Then you go up a little bit more, then you come down, right? This is the same thing, only you get a small win, and then you go up a little bit. Then you get another win, and you go up a little bit. And pretty soon, they're like, wow, what an overnight success you are, right? You get more customers, more revenue, more impact, and soon you're reaching millions of people, all because you started by focusing on and truly serving just a few people. The key to all of the market is to start with just a few specifically within the market. And this is something that everybody seems to miss. They want to start big. They want to scale from day one. They want to reach everyone immediately. That's like trying to plant a giant oak tree. Like a full-grown oak tree. Let me just put it in the ground. Ta-da, there's the tree. It doesn't work that way. You start with a tiny little acorn. You put it in the soil. You water it. You protect it. You give it a little bit of time to grow, and eventually it roots itself, and it builds strong branches, and it can weather the storm, and it can provide shade and shelter for thousands of people, and it all started with a tiny little acorn. And, trees take a while to grow from an acorn, but your ultra-specific digital product can grow very quickly from that small, very specific first version of it. So plant that, nurture it, let it grow, watch what happens. The tiny acorns you plant today grow the giant oak trees of tomorrow. Write that down. Everything big starts small. Every empire begins with a single decision. Every movement starts with one person caring enough to take action. And this is why I stay with you for hours at a time during these trainings. We go hard because this is what's at stake. This is why I pour my heart out, sharing stories with you, some of them that I've never told before. Many of them are very vulnerable. This is why I work with only the absolute best people like Iman, who's got the best deal for you on everything you're about to get, because I've seen what happens when someone truly grasps these concepts that I would love for you to learn. I've watched people go from broke and desperate to financially free and fulfilled. I've seen these tiny acorns become mighty oaks, and I want that for you. And not just because I'm like a good, kind-hearted person, which usually I am. I want you to win and succeed, because when you build something meaningful, it proves that this stuff actually works. That's what I want. I want to validate it. I want you to validate these concepts in the real world. I want you to get results, and we can create case studies from those results to inspire others. I want to build a community of winners so we can support each other. I want to design something where everyone wins, which brings me to the final principle. And this is the one that separates the one-hit wonders from the empire builders, right? This is the ones that separate those that maybe get lucky once and those that consistently bring money in and day out. And it's this consistency. That's what it is. That's the third principle. So write that down. We have speed, we have specificity, and now we have consistency. So here's how you put it together and start printing money. When you take the speed approach, developing digital products that shorten the time from action to result, and then you get ultra specific with those products, finding an audience within an audience within an audience, and then you repeat this process for as long as it takes until you hit a gusher. That's the last piece. Hit a gusher. You say, Jason, what the hell do you mean by gusher? Okay. So on the flight over here from LA, I was watching the Netflix series about the Dallas Cowboys. It's fascinating. And it starts with the story of this guy named Jerry Jones, this, guy from Arkansas, very strange guy. And he was trying to make it big in the oil game back in the day. So he was drilling all these oil wells. And he spent all of his money looking for oil wells because he knew if he found the right one, he would make so much money that he could buy a professional sports team. And here's the thing about Jerry. By the time that he was down to his last dollar, he says, this next oil well, if it doesn't hit, I am broke. I will go bankrupt. Game over, life ruin. And so that last one, when it was all on the table, it did hit. And he says the oil came out of it so loud, you could hear it. It came screaming out of the ground. They called it a gusher. They called it gushed right out of the ground. And that allowed Jerry Jones at the time to spend more than anyone had ever spent to buy a professional sports team, which was the Dallas Cowboys, from one oil well, from one single gusher, okay? Now, these are your digital oil fields, okay? By consistently putting out digital products every single day, it's exactly like drilling for oil. Some fields are more fertile than others, but it's impossible to know which ones until you start drilling. You might drill in 10 spots and find nothing. Then that 11th spot, boom, gusher, life changed forever. So if you commit to consistently publishing digital products, which you can do for free on WAP, then quantity becomes its own quality. Write that down. Quantity can become its own quality. What I mean is you're accelerating the time curve to hit that gold mine, that one digital product that makes you so much money, it almost feels wrong. And I can't predict exactly when that will happen for you, because I've collected over 150,000 customers in 131 countries throughout my digital career. And for some of those customers, they get lucky and it hits on the first product. And for others, it takes just a few more products. And for others, it takes maybe just a little bit more. So I don't know exactly when it will show up for you, but I can say with absolute certainty in front of you today, brothers and sisters, it will happen, provided you consistently publish digital products on a regular basis. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Especially especially if you're surrounded by like-minded people committed to doing the same. See, in 2008, I did what was considered impossible back then. I set a goal to put out a product every 2 weeks in 2008. I said, I'm going to commit to that for a year straight. A product every 2 weeks. That meant 26 products in a single year. And everyone told me I couldn't do it. And everyone believed that I was insane. They said, Jason, you'll burn out. They'll say, Jason, the products aren't going to be that good. They'll say, Jason, nobody can maintain that pace. If you want to know you're doing something right, here's a clue. When the people around you who are at your level tell you not to do it, that's the clue that you should do it. Because if you don't do it, then you'll stay at that same level, okay? So I'm like, blah, 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 whatever. And yet I did it anyway. I said, I hear you. I appreciate your feedback. And I want to do it. So I'm going to do it anyway. And you know what happened? Product number 11 went absolutely insane. I'm about halfway through the year, and that one product made me more money than all the other products combined. And then I never had to do that pace again. I've never published digital products at that pace anymore. I doubled down on that one gusher, put more gas on its fire, and scaled that bitch to the moon. And ever since then, every few years, I get another one. Another product that just hits different. Like the one that did $9.8 million in 8 days and then produced millions more for years to come. Or the product that pulled $57.9 million in its first 226 days. Or the product that every time we put it on the market, it would flush out at least $1 million. And we did that 6 times in a row. Because here's the thing. In between these gushers, it's still business as usual. I'm still putting out digital products here and there that are making good clips of cash on a consistent basis that allows me to live life to the fullest, go where I want, be who I want, not who I have to settle for. And I don't even care if I go blind because I don't have to see the price tag anymore. And I did all this when the pie was smaller and the effort was greater, when the cost to get in was higher, and when I had to blaze the damn trails like a pioneer because no one had paved them before. You, though, you get to stand on my shoulders. You get to go further, and I bless you to do so. I encourage you to do so. Please do so, because any sincere coach out there wants their players to surpass their own accomplishments. I want you to break every record that I've set. I want you to go farther than I've gone. I want you to do more than I've done. Why? Because I want you to make the world a better place for my children than it was for me. That's my real motivation. That's why I'm here. That's why I share these stories. That's why I give you everything that I got. And I would love for us to formally take part in helping you more when you'll make the investment in yourself today. And I brought a couple extra goodies. Yes, sir. Some bonuses that I would like to offer you as well from my own little treasure trove of assets, okay? Now, whether you've already said yes to Monetise, or if today is the day you finally join us, there's a gusher out there for you waiting. The only question is, are you ready to start drilling? Or are you going to spend another year wondering what if? The choice is yours. And I know what I'd do if I were in your shoes. And here's how we can help. Iman has put together the greatest offer I've ever seen for getting in the digital product game. And I'm adding in 2 of my own very special presentation-only bonuses to it today. So if you sign up or have already signed up before we finish today's session, you're going to get these new bonuses, which I'll reveal shortly. Last time we opened up Monetise, by the way, in May, these were the results. $8.9 million in the first 90 days in sales. And we've made the offer even better this time. And I've sweetened it even further for today only with my own special bonuses you'll get if you sign up before the end of the session. More on those shortly. First, let's talk about the core of what you get with Monetise. At its heart is this: the 4-step system to create profitable, non-expert digital products from zero using specialized AI. This exact steps These 4 steps are what our users took to generate over $8.9 million with their digital products in the first 90 days. And they are how to develop your product with specialized AI, how to monetize it, how to deliver it without lifting a finger, and how to scale it once you have proof of concept. Those are the 4 steps that Monetise will show you one after the other. This system is specifically designed to help you create non-expert digital products. And with this, you could have your first digital product created and ready to test by the end of this week. So even complete beginners can succeed with this, like Armando, who flew all the way from Texas to Dubai to be here with, and who I interviewed the other day. He went from nothing, 18-year-old construction worker seeing his dad suffering, to making so much money. In 1 year, he retired his dad. Isn't that insane? So what if you had access to the exact same monetization system used by virtually every single person that ended up in this leaderboard the last time we hosted this challenge? And what if you also had these absolute insane bonuses that we're including on top of the core 4-step system you get within Monetise? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Like our first bonus, Synthesize AI 3.0. This thing is a beast. This is the world's most powerful digital product creation system. It synthesizes for any digital product 150 plus real-world sources into a simple step-by-step solution on any digital topic where it would make sense to sell a digital product. More importantly, Synthesize AI is specifically designed to help you create products that do not require you to be the expert. That's why this tool goes for $2,999 a year when it's available. And here's the best part. You get unlimited access to it at no extra cost to you as part of your Monetise membership site. With Synthesize AI, you can create ready-to-launch products, non-expert digital products, within 40 minutes so that you can test any idea risk-free and only invest your time in products that actually make you money. And that's just our first bonus. Here's our second bonus. I love this bonus. Ghostwriter OS. In the first year alone, Iman has written over $1 million to make this available to you. That's his cost. It's been over 7 figures to be able to distribute this bonus to you. This is a specialized AI tool that creates the content to attract buyers to your digital products and turns them into buyers. It uses AI agents, over 35 of them. It's incredible. It's like 35 employees that are trained on specific tasks to help start and grow your digital business. Outside of Monetise users, the yearly fee is almost $3,000 to use Ghostwriter OS. It's yours for free for the short while that Monetise is open during this challenge. And that's our second bonus. Then here's our third bonus, the perfect product insurance policy. If you don't make your first digital product sell within 60 days of joining Monetise, Iman's personal team will step in and perform a complete diagnostic review on your digital product and your monetization strategy. They'll examine every detail, your product topic, the packaging and formatting of it, the pricing strategy, the monetization strategy, and more. And then you'll get delivered a personalized action plan telling you exactly what you need to do in order to get your first sell. And this is done by the same team that services the $25,000, the $100,000, and even the $250,000 clients at Iman's consulting firm. Now, here's what's really important about that first sale. Here's the numbers. We have them. We need you to get that first sales because our users who are able to make one sell on average generated $60,003 in earnings. If you can just get that one sell, this is what the results can be. And that's our third bonus. Then here's our fourth bonus right here, the digital product formula. This one is really cool. Iman sat down and recorded a complete implementation training of the 4-step process with every single detail, click, and strategy from developing your first product to your first sale to scaling it to tens of thousands a month. It's all been captured for you to go through. You'll watch over his shoulder as he builds actual digital products, every shortcut, every breakthrough moment that separates the winners from everybody else. From the man himself who's generated over $100 million in digital product sales. And just so you understand, Iman has about 50 people who pay him $25,000 or more for his mastermind, And in that mastermind, they spend 3 days dissecting this exact system in excruciating detail that you get for free as a bonus. Now check out this next bonus. It's called Monetise Mania, and I freaking love it. It's a 90-day competition where all the top digital product sellers inside of Digital Monetise, you can be on the same leaderboard with them. And $350,000 in prizes are up for grabs. The grand prize is a $40,000 Patek Philippe watch, the same watch that most billionaires wear and world leaders, and even little old Jason Fladlin. My wife bought me this Patek. It's my favorite watch, okay? So if you're number one, you get that. If your position's 2 through 5 in the leaderboard, when the launch starts, everybody starts from scratch, and we sprint for 90 days. If you're the number 2 through 5, you get a $10,000 Rolex each, because success should be celebrated and worn with pride. Positions 6 through 10, we have 5 Cartiers, one of the most iconic watches ever created. And it was actually the first major watch that I ever bought to signify to myself that I had finally made it. So those are the top 10 prizes. And everyone in the top 10 gets a ticket to Iman's exclusive $25,000 mastermind, where you 10 people will get to fly out to Dubai and be in a room with people who have collectively earned hundreds of millions of dollars from digital products. Last time this contest was run, it produced nearly $9 million in sales in 90 days. And I am confident that this time around, it will produce even more. So can you commit to this for 90 days? We want you to commit to this for 90 days, because the more you commit to this and the more successful you are, the better we are. Because Iman owns WAP. And when you publish products through WAPs, he gets a tiny little percent of every sale that comes in. So this is why we do this, okay? So you get the unlimited access to Synthesize AI, the tool that will create your digital product for you. You get Ghostwriter OS, the AI that will create all the assets you need to have a wildly profitable monetization system. You get the 60-day success safety net, where Iman's personal team will step in and perform a diagnostic review of your product if it doesn't make its first sale in its first 60 days. You get the digital product formula, where Iman will walk you through the 4-step system as you watch over his shoulder as he builds actual digital products live. And you get to compete in Monetise Mania, where everyone starts from scratch and they sprint for 90 days to see who can be at the top of the leaderboard, where there's $350,000 in prizes up for grab. Plus you get this next incredible bonus: 7 digital product coaching sessions. Not in total 7. No. 7 a week for the next 52 weeks. 7 sessions per week for 52 weeks. See, the last time that we ran people through Monetise, we tracked every single struggle or challenge or point that they came across where they needed some help or they needed some coaching from. And this is why we now have designed the coaching program to address any and all of these common obstacles, plus any other ones you may occur along the way. So you get 52 weeks of group coaching sessions covering everything you need to be successful with digital products. And you get this completely for free when you join Monetise today. Plus, I got 2 special bonuses available too. Here's the first one. I love this one. It's called Prosperity Algorithm. And this is my life's work. See, everything has an algorithm, and if you crack it, you win. So if you want to create powerful presentations like I did today, I cracked that algorithm. I know how to do this, and I am the very best at it, and this is why brands bring me in to help them with their businesses. Amazon had an algorithm and how they rank their products in the search results, and I cracked it so thoroughly that they had to change their terms of service. And affiliate marketing has an algorithm, and I smashed through that so well, I still hold the record for the biggest affiliate promotion of all time. And I will teach you my personal algorithm for prosperity, because prosperity has an algorithm. So you can have wealth in all areas of your life. And here's a small glimpse at what you get. I help you uncover the value of purpose. I show you schemas, which is my secret weapon. This is how I'm so useful to the people that I coach and train and teach. We reorganize their schemas and we make things happen that used to seem impossible. Framing, everything can be done if it's put into the right frame. I will teach you frames. I will teach you how to build compulsion so success becomes inevitable. I will break down everything that I know about leverage to you. I will show you how to harness intuition effectively. And I will teach you all these secrets, as well as how I was able to go from adversity to grow up to becoming one of the most sought after, maybe the most sought after people in my field, reaching success in finances and all other areas of prosperity in my life as well. This bonus is yours for free. It's a whole training program as long as you sign up before the end of the presentation today. This is my life's work, and it's typically only available for my high-end clients. And that's my first bonus. And then here's my second bonus. This one is freaking awesome. It's called offer modalities. So a modality is a different way in which you can deliver a digital product. So there's multiple different ways you can package up information and put it into different various types of digital products. And here's what I did. I went through the 18 years of my success, the over $300 million in digital product sales, and I looked at every offer that I was ever a part of, what made it good, and I isolated every single element, and I put it into a Notion doc that I then use for every single client that I advise and work with. Would you like that Notion doc? Would you like me to walk you through it live on a training privately held where I will do it alongside of you and then record it, give you the recording of that training, give you the assets so you can see literally every secret that I have ever had with actual digital products, which have set all the records in the space, including this one. One of the reasons that Iman brought me in is to help him structure his offering for this digital product, which is Monetise. And he broke WAP's record as a result for sales in 24 hours, 48 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. He broke the 30-day sales record in 48 hours and 19 minutes. That's how powerful this stuff is. And so I have a collection of these secrets waiting for you. This is something I do not sell on the open market. I use it with the clients, the super successful clients all over the world, okay? And so, Iman posted this on his Instagram. You can see it one day. He says, I hold all the records, and I've been part of all the records in the space. And it comes from these secrets, which are otherwise only reserved for my top clients. And I'm going to train you on that privately, live, in a Zoom session where we can interact, ask questions, and I will go through it with you step by step. Now, here's the catch. These two bonuses are only available if you sign up before the end of this webinar that we're doing here today. Once this presentation today is over with, I'm going to pull these two bonuses back. They're very, very valuable. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to sign up by clicking on the link that I'm about to drop in the live chat here on YouTube in 3, 2, 1. Boom, baby. You should see that popping up in the chat right now, pinned to the top. Or if you prefer, you can go to straight joiniman.com. Just type joiniman.com into your favorite browser. Regardless of how you get there, it will take you to a page where you can go ahead and sign up. And then when you get to the checkout page, you will have a variety of options in which you can choose how you can invest. So make the investment. Let's start building your first non-expert digital product here today. Plus, remember, you're backed by the work with you until you win guarantee. And I love this. It's simple. You have to 10x your investment here today with Monetise, with your digital product. And until you do, we will keep working with you, period. We will do whatever it takes to continue to provide support, access, and resources until you 10x the investment that you make today. That means that we will never ask you for another dollar for an update. It means that we will keep coaching you. It means that we will give you updates to new programs, and we will continue to support you until you hit that 10x investment mark. And then once you hit that, this is how it goes into crazy mode and takes on a life of its own. So really, you only have two options here today. Either you succeed once you invest in Monetise and make at least 10x your investment, or we keep working with you until you do. And in addition to that, your investment is also protected by a 7-day, no questions asked refund policy. Just write support@monetise.com if this isn't for you and you want your money back. Now, when you go to joiniman.com, check the financing options in the checkout. There's the link. It's pinned at the top there. You can go through there. You can sign up. And when you sign up before we end here today, I'm going to give you 2 extra special bonuses from my secret treasure trove. And these aren't like products I sell. These are things I use to be extremely successful in what I do.